right, welcome back. Now, it's Luchi Talk before the break. Now we will talk about eradicating poverty through agriculture, right? Yeah. So today we actually get a Kajat guest in the house. Now, according to my informate, agriculture, they actually account for 24% for our GDP. Now, by statistics, they thought say by 2030, there is plan on ground to actually end poverty. How this one go to actually play out and how agriculture go to actually help us. That's now why we get this Kajat person inside the house. Him a farmer and him a sustainable agriculturist and him represents Nigeria for inside the World G20 Agricultural Summit. Join me, welcome Sipasi Olalekon inside the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing, Sipasi?
I'm very fine.
Okay. Before we actually just go into Sipasi, from where? And I see all Olalekon and I see Sipasi, and I'm like, is he an alien too?
Well, so many people think Sipasi is actually my nickname, but Sipasi is my surname. I'm from Ondo State, riverine area of Ondo State. Yeah. Oh,
so what's Sipasi? What do you mean?
Sipasi means man pass man.
Ah,
yeah.
Really? See that name, really man pass man. Good to have you in the house.
Thank you.
All right, so we could just go straight away. Now, with the talk of hunger, now according to statistics, they say we'll get to about 30 million Nigerians where they suffer from hunger. Now, this eradication program where they want to come by 2030 to eradicate hunger in Nigeria, how feasible is it? Why are they talking now? Say, if you go market now, the price of tomato is not the same. Tomato don't go up. If we get this problem every year, not be saying a new problem, we just come this year. They get the same problem every year. Why we never solve them all this while?
It is inconceivable that a nation like Nigeria, blessed with arable land and resources, cannot provide enough to feed the citizens. I think it's only in Nigeria and some parts of African countries that during the yellow tide season, you know, the price of commodities of food goes up, even after the yellow tide season. So this is actually very pathetic. Now, I would like to say here that to eradicate hunger by the year 2030, government have a role to play.
What will be this role?
Now, the UN has come together. They've actually set a benchmark that by 2030 we should eradicate hunger. Now, the government need to put proper channels in place for us to eradicate hunger. Currently in Nigeria, production, processing, packaging of agricultural produce is still a problem. Now, we have a current problem in Nigeria that the government are not paying attention to, which is the migration of youths from the rural communities where agriculture is being practiced, where our food from the cities are coming from. These youths are migrating to the urban centers. So one of the roles the government needs to play is to actually create an enabling environment for the youths in agriculture in the rural community so that they will be attracted to agriculture, they will be motivated to stay in the rural community to make things work for the farmers, for the growing farmers. Now, during the G20 summit, we went to Brandenburg, which happens to be the farming arena of Germany. So we got there, you need to see the kind of atmosphere the farmers are living over there. The youth are motivated even by the EU, European Union, to stay in the rural communities. They have access to power, road, fuel stations right on the farm in a rural community to produce food. So if you have this, for example, I was at a particular farm settlement, Agowu farm settlement in Osun State, whereby we have structures placed there by our fathers, in Nigeria. These are very good buildings. But when you get there now, they are dilapidated structures. Why? All we need to do as a government is just to rehabilitate the place, give us good internet, good water, power, then the youth will be motivated to stay and farm in the rural communities. I think this is a place the government needs to actually look into.
Okay, according by what you talk now, hunger will not come out from inside Nigeria if we not actually give farmers the basic things that they actually need. And you actually come outside identify a lot of flaws in terms of agricultural produce in Nigeria, especially during Christmas or New Year or any other celebration. Season. Now, why you think, say, food items, they actually increase at festive seasons?
Very good. Now, food item gets increased during the festive season for so many reasons. You know, during this time, we have high congestion on our roads. Then our food item depends on road transportation in Nigeria. Oh, yeah. So for you to transport goods from the north to the southwest, it's a huge challenge. So transportation is very huge. Now you see that the road to our farms are very bad.
Yes.
You know, before the farmers could struggle from the farm just to the road where they have tied road to Lagos, you know, they go through a lot of issues, and the transportation cost charges go high. You know, so this actually amount for, increase in food price. Now, after harvesting, the storage facilities are very poor. You know, almost half or over half post-harvest lost right on the farm, and we have people hungry. It's only in our country that after a bountiful harvest, the farmers still go to the bed hungry in our country.
Okay, now you know waiting. You get one suggestion will be read for inside the papers a long time ago where we even bring out. I go investigate. Now the government be at some point talk saying a suggestion. Oh, we don't know whether they won't implement them now. We don't know whether they don't just wipe them under the carpet. They become outside talk say when food they in abundance, when we day one of the seasons. Let's say take for example tomato season. Say they go buy them off the farmers, keep them. Then when the prices they don't go up, maybe when it is scarce, they will come bring them out, sell them, make them they available so that the price go they regulated for inside the they'll sell them at a cheaper price for inside the market. Now that system where they come outside talk as a suggestion, you feel say it is it's economical for the food for in terms of food security?
You know, I do say that for us to achieve a stable society, the government need to be holistic about their approach. And there's one thing I will tell you here, that the government has the solution to agricultural decay in our country. Now, but the implementing partners, they have a lot to do in achieving a world without hunger. Are we together?
Yeah.
Now, if our government could buy off from the farmers, you know, and actually do on-site processing of the produce, then store. This is a very good approach.
That was the plan anyway.
Yeah, that was the plan. Is it being implemented?
No, it hasn't been implemented.
Okay, now this
so
one. Okay, yes, please go
ahead.
Do
you think that plan will actually help a lot of farmers and help a lot of people, especially during Christmas or whatever season where things they actually increase?
Definitely, it's a very good plan and a laudable plan if the government can be true to their values, and if they can be true to the agenda of agriculture, it will work very fine.
Okay, now this brings me to, with the talk of when the food day in season, that now when farmers they grow them and it is quite affordable for them to grow at that point in time. Other countries, they get certain food. In fact, they get all food all year round. Yeah. Now, we know they approach corn season. We don't come up for mango season. But if you go other developed countries, you can get mango all year round. You can get corn all year round. You can get oranges all year round. You can get everything you want. No, that's what I'm saying now. Yeah. That brings me now to GMO, genetically modified organisms that they use for crop items. Now, for inside Nigeria, you feel say we can do that, or you feel say advantages there when it comes to genetically modified organisms for food?
GMO is a very complex issue I would not like to go into now, but I want to tell you that even without GMO, we can produce food all year round. For example,
but if other developed countries don't try them and it don't work.
From our statistics, it shows that we are improving economically, but the rate of unemployment is getting larger. But you will see that in some countries that are dependent on agriculture and they have high economic rates, like Tanzania and Ethiopia, you will notice that they involve youth in agriculture. We have not exploited our processing industry. Currently in Malawi, a friend is producing dried mango. So when mango is in season, this guy will harness the mangoes, the excess, because they are practically throw it away during the season, which happen in our food basket.
Too, yeah.
You get? So he dry it and make it into dried mango. So after the season, you can have mangoes to take. So we need to harness. Why should we go into GMO production of food when we have our food wasting away on the farm.
Now, I know say,
let us first tackle the post-harvest losses we have in the agricultural sector.
I know say for inside Lagos State, for example, Lagos State government, they try raise funds for people who won't go into agriculture or who won't do any business where they know say they fit defend the amount of money where they need them from. In fact, one of these days we'll bring the person inside the studio. Good. But now make we talk about this this farmers, because now we don't get young people where they decide, we don't decide now to come out. Yeah. We even have adults where their retirement money they use until buy land. Already, when we check statistics, they say now 14.5 million small-scale farmers now we get for inside Nigeria. That number will not increase by now, but now the report will get for there. But these farmers, don't they find them difficult to get so many things? Would they hear for inside paper say federal government, they give out fertilizer. They give out this. But it be like, say, those things that they give out is only getting to the people at the top of the food chain. It be like, say, they trickle down to the low scale or the local farmers where they inside bush. Why you feel say they like that?
Well, it all boils down to the approach, holistic approach. Now the government needs to understand and sit with their implementing partners to see that their intervention gets to the grassroots. I work at the rural level, I've been opportune to be to several rural parts of this country, and I know what farmers are going through. These intervention, they are not being cascaded the way they should. And the government needs to look critically and monitor their processing and the fruitfulness of their investment in the local area. Else, we are still going to be messing up in our agricultural sector as a country.
Now we're thinking of how to eradicate hunger by choking our eye, leg, everything inside agriculture. And yet, the security of farmers is still under question due to the herdsmen attack. Now, how will we actually help these farmers? How will we actually secure our farmland? Yeah,
very good. Securing our farmland, it's very easy. During my MSc project, I work on silage, using agricultural byproducts to produce cattle feed. Now, we produce a lot of cassava in Nigeria. Oh, yeah. And in fact, the world's largest producer of cassava, Nigeria. That's something huge. Then, after peeling our cassava, we leave it in the rural communities. They ferment and cause endemic disease there. Now, these cassava peels, we can actually dry them, in a certain proportion and make it into cattle feed or ruminant feed. But the adequate incentive, imagine for me to actually peel about 10 tons of cassava, then I'll be getting about 2 tons of cassava peels. Imagine if a farmer has to depend on sun, the natural sun, to dry it. It won't work well.
No, but how does this, when they talk of the security of the farmers and the farmland, would they hear of herdsmen, of how they target farmland to go cause a lot of destruction?
Of course, that's what I'm driving home my point. Now, if you have this dried and you prepare it into silage, you don't need to move your cattle around. We just need policy to actually restrict the herdsmen and make sure that they use the silage provided and they exercise their animals within their grazing environment. Now we have grazing reserves in Nigeria, but yet we still have herdsmen destroying crops up and down and causing communal clashes. We can use our byproduct from the farm to actually tackle this menace in our society.
All right, now, it gets a particular mechanism where, because I will work for one of the International Institute of Agriculture, and it gets a particular mechanism where I notice a lot of farmers feel no about that's nitrogen fixation and how to use sand where people don't even know, say like beach sand, they grow sorghum. Now, these are things where people, Research Institute, they work on top. Research Institute, they try, see how they feel make maize, maybe one of the cash crops for inside Nigeria will fit to use. How they feel make maize, they are available. Why people still not get access to this kind of information?
Good. It's one thing to conduct research, and it's another thing to localize your research.
Sure.
Now, we have thousands and thousands, if not millions, of agricultural graduates from the university.
Oh, yeah?
We all did our research, project work.
Yeah.
But how are we turning our project work into a viable tool to tackle poverty, hunger in our country, Nigeria? I pulled out my own project from my lecturer's shelf and converted it into a business. And that is what I'm standing on till date. So we need to motivate our youths and even our, it is actually something absurd to just have about 2% of Africans studying agriculture.
Yeah,
Just
because
2%.
the cost not they encourage you for inside Nigeria.
It's not encouraging.
I did my project, I do my research on, I did agricultural microbiology as well. So I began for work for greenhouses, and I see the way plants, I see the potential of agriculture
Of course.
in greenhouses. This one not even in the real field.
You know what?
Greenhouses.
I think we have a lot to talk about agriculture in Nigeria. And when we come back after the break, we'll talk about how to control our agricultural proceeds and also think exporting of our agricultural proceeds in Nigeria. And also, we will leave our phone lines open for you to actually put your mouth inside.
All right, yes, you're welcome back to your Balanced Diet of Teletainment. Thanks for the news brief you give us on top of the Balanced Diet of Teletainment. But now, we still get our very casual guest in the building, none other than a farmer and a sustainable agriculturist and a representative at the World G20 Agricultural Summit. We get Sipasi Olaleko in the building here with us, and we're going to talk about how we fit to use sustainable agriculture to combat hunger for inside our country. Because according to report, they say come 2030, they want to make sure saying that zero hunger day for inside Nigeria in particular. How possible this one will be? I would like to ask Olaleko now. In one word, is it possible for us to have a country without hunger? Nigeria.
I think before you actually answer
Okay.
it, let's just make our people understand that our phone lines are officially open. So if you actually call us now and put your mouth inside, our phone lines are on top of your TV screen. So call us and let us know what you think about how agriculture if you actually help us combat hunger.
If you say a time will reach where Nigeria go there among the countries where we talk, so we don't totally eradicate hunger.
Yeah, if all hands are on deck, one world, one Nigeria without hunger is very possible. So now I would like to talk about the role of technology in agriculture to eradicating hunger. Now, when it comes to the issue of technology, we have to be very, very careful. In Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, the population of youth is about 240 million. You know, by the year 2050, this population is expected to be double. Now, if we actually encourage total mechanization, then we'll be forcing a lot of youths out of jobs. Are we together? So what we need in the technological sector of agriculture is appropriate technology. Now, appropriate technology in the sense that, well, instead of using a whole big tractor, for example, if I have 1 acre of land, I don't need to get a whole big tractor to get my work done on the farm, to get my land plowed and stuff like that. But if I have something appropriate, like what we have now, a low tractor, whereby it's hand-driven but mechanized, you know, that will still keep a lot of youths in
employment
yeah.
Jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
But the major thing is that these farmers, they don't even get access to this technology in question. And most of them don't even sabi use them.
Of course, now, that is where the place of education and training. You know, we have a lot of things going on, but they are not visible. You know, for example, we have AU skills, African Union skills, and CADEP, you know, comprehensive Africa agricultural programs. We have them on ground. All our government needs to do is to go to the, to improve the rural youth employment strategy. You know, let them improve. If they improve it, then they plug it into the agenda of the AUS and the CADEP, so we have a functional agricultural system that will elevate our country out of poverty by the year 2030.
How long have you been a farmer?
I've been a farmer for the past 20 years. It's my childhood passion.
Good years.
Yeah. And when it was time to decide my university, and I told my mom that I want to be a farmer, she told me that, she asked me, is that what you want? I said, yes. And agriculture was never my second choice. You know, it was my first choice. And we need to understand that something is happening in Nigeria, whereby when you are dropped from medicine, then the only option is for you to go to agriculture. So we see agriculture as the second option and stuff like that. With the potential, in Germany, Dr. Mo Mohammed, one of the power holders in Africa, told us that just 2% of the university students in Africa study agriculture with the potentials we have in the agricultural sector. Just 2%.
Exactly.
So tell me, out of those 2%, we have so many of them in the banking sector, we have so many of them in engineering firms and stuff like that. So who and who will develop our agricultural sector.
So
Because
why
a
the
lot of people need to survive. A lot of people, it be like, say, reading agriculture in the university or even doing them as a professional course, you know, they're profitable. It be like so because
it's because of how we don't take agriculture
because even the amenities, even the conditions in the country is not even encouraging.
It's not
a lot
encouraging.
Of people.
Yeah, now the government need to stand to their responsibility. See, let me tell you, Africa is accounting for about 22 countries out of the 22 countries out of the 24 countries with the highest stunted growth, above 40%. Highest stunted growth, yeah.
Okay, now
which is due to malnutrition.
You see, and that is hunger
that is
we're talking
agriculture.
about. Now, if you look at, I won't even look the poultry industry because we know, say, for Nigeria here, poultry, egg, chickens, it's hot cake. Yeah. Now, the people who come out and estimate them, they say our poultry industry is estimated at 80 billion. 80 billion naira. Now, we know say they banned importation of chicken in 2003. Yeah. But still, till today, we see they get people they smuggle them in because local production is not even enough. Local production caters for 20%, approximately 20% of the population. We get over 70% of the people who still need this poultry production. So what do you feel say we fit to do? Because I don't see videos of how they inject. I know they don't see how they inject.
They do it in developed countries. They inject them with a lot of things to make them fatter.
To make them fuller, to make them fatter. These are things that are going to have. I use my money to buy sickness for myself.
See, let me tell you something. The poultry industry is another big issue in our country. We read a lot of things from the papers, from the dailies, telling us, oh, we have opportunities in the poultry industry, we have this, we have that. Now, production of maize in our country, human beings and animals depend on maize for survival. Yeah. Now, the poultry industry, the price of feed is on the high side, rising on daily basis. So the farmers, they have no choice than to keep their birds alive. So they need to purchase this item. And the community, the society, I mean, people below average, they cannot purchase 1 crate of egg, which drastically moved from about 650 naira to 1,200 naira. Yeah. Are we together? Almost double, depending on even the size. Now they can't afford it. So a lot of farmers, they have what we call gluts. The eggs, they are getting spoiled on the farm. So all they needed to do, I mean, all they did was to push out their eggs at lower cost, not making profit, but just to reduce their loss.
Wow.
Are we together? So these are critical areas we need to, look into.
But so, if you look there's so many aspects where some people they watch us now, they feel want to go into agriculture. I want me to talk about how long it takes some crops. Take, for example, ugu. I know say it just takes for like watermelon, cabbage. I know say it takes like some of them between 28 to 90 days for you to be ready, for it to be harvested, for you to take it to the market, for you to be able to sell. Because a lot of people now, they want to enter agriculture. They don't even know where to start. They say, if you poultry, it seems too big. Tell us some of the small things, some of the small ones where people feel go into, where they feel start tomorrow and start doing something right.
Of course, currently on our demo farm here in Lagos, Ikorodu, we are producing vegetables, all kinds of vegetables. Now, we've noticed that it takes a very short time, for you to get a lot out of vegetables, for you to recoup from your vegetable production.
And Nigerians now, they take more vegetables. A lot of people are taking a lot of healthy
of course.
meals now.
Now, people, you need to see vegetables that are, that are pure from the farm. Just straight from the farm, without going fresh from the farm, without going through stress and stuff like that. Now, what we do on our farm is to we use our poultry dungs, we convert them into compost. Yeah. So instead of using fertilizers, you have the organic synthetic ones. So we just use the organic. Yeah. Now we are into city farming now, telling people that no matter how your compound is, German, interlocked or whatever, you can use waste materials from your own domestic waste, from your household, very small garden. Then you can use it to produce ugu efficiently. Then
how long does it take for ugu?
For ugu, 3 months you start your harvest.
Start harvesting.
For ugu?
For ugu. Wow. Now, 3 months. Now we notice that they even perform better in the waste materials than on the land.
But we know ugu and vegetables, they actually need a lot of water. Now, one of the challenges where even farmers, where they go into vegetables, they face, because you have to always water them.
Well, every success must come with a cost. But for you, anywhere in the world, you need water to do agriculture. anywhere in the
Irrigation.
world. Yeah, you can go into irrigation, or you cannot depend on rain, because you can see what climate change is doing to the global community. You know, we can't depend on rain, but we need water. So here is what I said the other time, whereby we need to put appropriate technology in place. You can use just your bucket, your plastic bucket, to make irrigation kits on your small garden without having to put water in your watering can, have to carry the water on your head before you have the opportunity to
Okay, so apart from
fertilize it.
ugu, which other vegetable again?
We have amaranthus, shoko.
Shoko, how long shoko they take?
Shoko is just days. From 15 days you can start harvesting.
15 days, that's 2 weeks.
About 2 weeks, yeah, you can start harvesting. These are things we've done on our farm, and we are even selling it out to people.
What of fruits like watermelon?
Watermelon, 3 months, you get it done.
Carrot?
Carrots, just few weeks also, very few weeks. So
Cabbage?
Cabbage, about 40 days, you have your harvest.
You know what? I think there are many crops where we feel actually they list out here to find out the days. But I think, say, like you talk, education. A lot of people who want to go into farming, they need to be educated. Is there a quarter where if you actually educate prospective farmers on what to expect on whichever field they will actually go into? Because I can decide today, say I want to go into fishery. How do I get educated on it? Of
course. Now, it's very good. I tell people to actually try as much as possible to attach themselves for an internship, you know, with someone that is successful in that particular line. For example, if you want to go into fish farming, look for a very successful fish farmer to intern with the person. You know, it's not possible for you to just, they said money is in fish today.
You just enter it tomorrow.
Go buy fish pond, put fish, they will all die.
Wow. You know? Does it go the same thing with vegetable too?
With vegetables, you need to learn. You need to learn the best practice. It's not enough. When I started out, I lost about 45% of my birds.
Wow.
Yeah.
At the
beginning. My first personal crop, I lost 45% of my birds.
Okay, now you know, say we don't, just to cut you short because of time, we don't talk of waiting government go do, what government go do. Waiting you and I feed do as your final word on top agriculture, making sure, say, if you eradicate hunger for our country?
Well, I believe that the success of our society is a collective responsibility. If all hands are on deck, we'll fight, we'll box hunger to the wall. You know, I'm using this medium to call on all institutions and bodies, Christian religious body, Islamic religious bodies, you know, everyone, institutions and civil society, to make sure that they have their own family farms. If in Nigeria we have about 70 families doing subsistence farming, it will go a long way in eradicating hunger, fighting malnutrition in our country, Nigeria.
Wow. All right, if you just join us, you don't actually miss a lot. And we'll be talk with Sepasi Olalekon on how to eradicate hunger in Nigeria through sustainable agriculture. You get any platform for people to actually follow you? Are you online on Instagram?
Of course. You can join us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/protectozone. Protect Ozone.
Okay.
You know, that's where you see all our projects and the local content initiative we use in fighting hunger and poverty in the city and in the rural areas.
So on Facebook, Protect Ozone, and if you actually ask them any question
yeah, sure.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sepasi Olalekon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, right. All right, so this is now the time we'll get on top your balanced diet of entertainment. We'll go there again tomorrow, Feel Good Friday, Funky Friday, to give you our Let's Down breakdown. I remain Luchi Inobong. Good morning.
And not they discourage if you want actually go into farming, go into one, but make sure say you learn from people who don't actually they into agriculture in Nigeria. My name is Sirimen Uvi Ehigamuse. Join us again tomorrow.
To enjoy more of these our Ogbonge videos when you just watch, press this button to subscribe on top of our YouTube page. You go love am.